Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
You are tuned in to an emergency What's the Snaps podcast. Houston Rockets guard James Hardin has now been dealt to the Brooklyn Nets. What in the absolute hell is going on?
So, well, pretty much what we got. How long has it been since LeBron went to Miami?
Was that 2012? 2010 maybe?
It's 2021, so we're about 9 years removed from that.
I think it was 2010, so it might be 11 years.
11 years removed from that. Sorry, math's hard. LeBron started a trend that has only grown more and more ridiculous over a 9-year span and only gained more and more momentum. And this is the craziest one that's happened yet. Soon it's probably going to be about 3 relevant teams with 5 superstars each, and those are going to be the only teams with a chance because this is crazy.
It's utterly ridiculous, and this is why people don't watch the NBA. It 100% is.
It's not organic. Championships are won in the off season, not on the court.
Yeah, it is. And you said it on the podcast a couple weeks ago. It's like championships are built, playing video games or playing for the USA team. It's wherever you can network with guys who you figure out you want to play with. This one in particular, yes, these guys were both drafted together, James Hardin and Kevin Durant. They're both drafted to OKC, so they know each other that way. But Kevin Durant's been to 2 other places, or 1 other place since then in Golden State. James Hardin, this is now his 2nd location since leaving OKC. And not just those 2 guys, but we've got the whole Kyrie Irving fiasco. This season for the Brooklyn Nets is going to turn into even more of a soap opera by adding another main character. This is like an Expendables movie. There's too many main characters in here right now for anything actually productive to happen.
You mentioned the soap opera there. Kyrie and KD are 12 games into this thing. They didn't even make it 12 games. And it's already it's all over the place. Kyrie
isn't even showing up to stuff.
Kyrie might quit. James Harden's on the team now. I agree with you. It's utter mayhem. Who knows what's going on? They have to win, right?
If they do not win, this is all a moot point. It makes no sense to me why, if they don't get an NBA championship, not just Eastern Conference Finals, not just make it, but they need to go out and they need to beat the LA Lakers, because that's what this team was designed to do at this point. You were picking up these guys to beat LeBron James. And this would be, I think these 3 guys might be more talented than any other team that LeBron would face if he were to face them down the line.
They're 3 of the most talented scorers of all time. I don't think that's a presumptuous statement. I think that's accurate. What they are capable of doing, those 3 guys, Kyrie, KD, and James Harden, has not been done in this league before. And they are special in their own right, each of them.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I don't know if there's enough shots to go around. We talked about it on the radio show earlier. How are they going to get 3 monstrous egos to continuously buy in when each of them has only known how to score in this league?
Exactly. The only one that I will admit knows how to play well with others is Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
But he's not the guy that you want taking less shots, because he's, in my opinion, the best player out of the 3 by far.
Oh, by far.
I think it's hard to argue that James Harden or Kyrie Irving is a better basketball player than Kevin Durant.
Well,
sure, Kyrie might be better with the ball, but
a healthy Kevin Durant 2 years ago was arguably the best player in the NBA.
Exactly. People were making conversation for that, and there's definitely room for conversation because he is just so gifted in the realm of scoring the basketball. So here's the breakdown of the trade, essentially. So the Brooklyn Nets get James Harden. That's about all they get. And then the Houston Rockets make out with Victor Oladipo, because his team involved the Pacers and the Cavs. They got 3 guaranteed first-round picks and then 4 swap picks. So essentially what that means in the NBA, for those of you that don't know, you can't trade consecutive year first-round picks. So you can then swap picks. So if the Houston Rockets have the better pick, they keep it. If the Nets have the better pick, they swap. So potentially there are 7 first-round draft picks on the line here.
Championship or bust, it's got to be. But like you already mentioned, they do have 3 of the most talented players that we've seen in a long time on their team. So it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to watching it. That's the thing that I will say about the super teams is there's so much anticipation and so much hype that you kind of have to watch. At least that's how I feel. But end of the day, I don't like the way that it happened, and I think it's trending towards something that is not sustainable as far as a competitive league that's fun to watch.
Yes, it's completely it's bad for the game of basketball, and we've been saying this ever since. Not even really LeBron went to South Beach. It was essentially when Kevin Durant went to Golden State, because there weren't a lot of complaints when LeBron did it. People were more mad that he left Cleveland, not who he left Cleveland for.
It's just that each move has gotten a little bit more crazy. Each super team has gotten a little bit more unfair. And I mean, you couldn't have even dreamed of this, 6 years ago? If somebody said Kyrie, KD, and James Harden are going to play together, you'd be like, forget about it. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
They would never do that. And here we are.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is just like the only word that keeps coming to my mind is the word ridiculous, because that's what it is. We joked about it at the beginning of the year. We joked about it because James Harden is pissed off that the Rockets can't win anything and they're just setting themselves up for failure. But this move could be setting yourself up for failure more, especially if this whole fiasco with Kyrie Irving, him not showing up. Steve Kerr doesn't know when he's coming to the facility to practice, to do anything. He's going out to his sister's birthday party. Shout out. I mean, it looked like a good time. But
okay, can I say something about that? Can I say something about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on. That's a breach of privacy by the NBA. It was his sister's birthday party. That's not cool. All right. You're judging players at a different standard than you would judge anybody else by at that point. I don't think that's fair in this regard, especially pertaining to COVID. It was a family event that's personal, and to just shame him publicly because of that, just because you can, I think is ridiculous. Stephen A. Smith said that he thought that Kyrie should retire. I don't know if you saw that. They're just going in on him. I don't think it's fair. I think that he, as always, has been dramatic about it and hasn't responded well and has missed like even more games for no reason. I don't like that, but I don't think that he should have been as publicly shamed for violating the protocols at a family gathering as he was. I didn't think that was right.
I'll give you that. It was his sister's birthday. We would have done the same thing.
Exactly.
But it's different if he was going to his sister's party and then still coming to practice and talking to people. He hasn't talked to anybody in the organization for weeks.
That's not cool.
Yeah. So that it piles on.
It's been 12 games.
Yeah.
12 games. What happened in 12 games?
I don't know. Maybe he finally realized the earth isn't flat and it's kind of taken a toll on him. And this is his down spiral. Kyrie finally found out that it's a globe and he's on a downward spiral.
I think the soap opera is going to get even more dramatic. I'm excited to see what goes on in the off the court drama with this group, because that's a pretty interesting cast right there.
It is. The only good thing that I think is going to come out of this is another good nickname for a group of players. You know, we had the Big Three up in Boston. We had the Heatles. We've had the Splash Brothers. I'm excited to see what ESPN decides to name these three. The Three Stooges is my name right now.
Right now, I couldn't imagine that any of them are that popular.
It's got to be the Three Stooges.
I don't think do you think anybody really likes these guys? Like, is this a super team move that fans are excited about? Because all three of those guys right now have just not left a great taste in people's mouths. You got Kyrie Irving just not playing basketball right now. James Hardin just not playing basketball earlier this year.
And you got to respect the amount of shape that he's in. He looks so out of shape. I saw this on Twitter, not my original, but he looks like he's about to play Santa Claus in a movie. Some of these pictures with his belly, he looks like he's about to play Santa Claus.
Yeah. And Kevin Durant, you got to respect his game.
People like Kevin Durant. That's my only thing to come back to is people still like Kevin Durant.
Because even if you don't like his moves, he balls out.
He does ball out. The only knock I have on Kevin Durant is his burner accounts on Twitter, but I just think that's hilarious that he has burner accounts to respond to people. But this move is still just wild. Hopefully we don't have to have another emergency episode where we're talking about something else outlandish like this. But if we do, it'll still be a good time. So we'll see what this entails for the Brooklyn Nets if they can go championship or bust. I don't think they will. Still don't think you can get past the brick wall that is LeBron James and Anthony Davis for now. But we'll be interested to see, and happy rebuilding to the Houston Rockets.
On a larger scale, a bigger picture, I think what you're seeing is the AAU era starting to come up in the NBA. Like LeBron sort of was the beginning of that, but now those teams have even more influences, and then you're kind of seeing prep academy basketball. All everybody knows their entire lives is just float around, move, go to different teams to try to win basketball games. So I think that era is just coming up, and it's just more and more becoming the case where it's all about teaming up with dominant players more so than carrying a team yourself.
Exactly. And it's just another reason to me that I believe the NFL will be superior to the NBA for time to come.
I think that the NFL is for different reasons, though.
So I think consistency in the NFL.
You do, but that's because of the franchises, the history behind the teams themselves. I don't know if the NBA has that same allure.
I could give you that, yeah, but like you have the NBA to know where people are. Sometimes you have to be a diehard fan. Like if you didn't check Twitter today, you might still think that James Harden plays for the Houston Rockets.
You might.
But the NFL, you know that Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere.
He's not. No, he isn't.
Derrick Henry probably not going anywhere.
Well, he's not going to the next round of the playoffs.
He isn't going to the next round of the playoff. And if you want to hear more about that, you can check us out on our full episode of the podcast, which we'll be releasing soon on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Music. Check it out at What's the Snaps. Thanks again for tuning into this emergency episode of the podcast. Have a good one.